Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of AI Theater. I'm your host, Emily Tullock, and we have Brian Hill, my co-host, in the control room right now. And we have a very fun episode for you planned. Normally, we do scripts for plays and movies and all of that, but we're going to switch it up a little bit. We're going to be doing stand-up comedy for you, generated by the AI. I'll go first, and then we'll have Brian come up second. So here we go, everyone. Let me get into my stand-up comedy persona. All right, ladies and gentlemen, how's everyone doing tonight? It's fantastic to be here. And I have to say, I absolutely love doing stand-up comedy. You know, it's the one job where you can stand in a room full of strangers and tell them your deepest, darkest secrets, and they actually applaud you for it. Now, isn't it funny how technology is changing our lives? I mean, who could have predicted that we'd be carrying around these small little computers in our pockets, and yet we still can't find the TV remote? It's like a high-stakes game of hide and seek, and the remote always wins. I mean, I'm pretty sure my remote is taking lessons from a ninja in its spare time. I spend more time looking for that little guy than I actually do watching TV. And speaking of technology, have you ever noticed how smartphones have become like an extension of our bodies? I mean, people treat their phones like they're newborn babies. You know, they cradle them, they feed them, and heaven forbid if they drop them, it's like they've just witnessed a tragedy. I mean, have you ever tried to take a phone away from a teenager? Yeah, it's like trying to take a bone away from a hungry dog. You're going to lose a finger. But, you know, let's dive deeper into this whole smartphone thing, you know? You know what's strange is we can have entire conversations with people and we're not even looking at each other. You know, it's like a modern day magic trick. You know, we're staring at our screens, texting away, and somehow we're supposed to be connecting with the people right in front of us. It's like, I know you're physically here, but I need to check my Instagram feed for the 5th time in the last 5 minutes. I mean, and you know, don't even get me started on how conversations have become like a series of memes and emojis. You know, if you want to express yourself, you send a laughing face or a gif of a dancing cat. I mean, whatever happened to good old-fashioned words, people? Huh? What happened? Now let's discuss food delivery apps. I mean, they're a lazy person's dream come true. You can have any cuisine delivered to your door in minutes. But ordering a pizza on one of those apps, you know, can turn into a labyrinth of choices. You can spend hours customizing your pizza, selecting the sauces, the toppings, the cheese. It's like designing a piece of art. And then when it arrives, you open the box and it looks like a Picasso painting. It's a delicious mess. But, you know, we'll still order it again and again and again, right? Because the promise of a perfectly customized pizza is just too tempting to resist. All right, now let's dive into the great outdoors. Camping. Have any of you ever been camping? You know, I went camping once, and I realized it's just an excuse to pay to sleep on the ground and fight off mosquitoes all night. And don't even get me started on the idea of roughing it. Camping is like suburban folks trying to live like cavemen for a weekend. Oh, look at me. I'm building a fire with sticks, and tomorrow I'm going to bathe in the freezing creek. It's so primal, you know? No, it's just mosquito bites and a bad night's sleep, and I'll take my comfy bed any day. Now let's talk about social media for a second. It's like a double-edged sword, right? On one hand, you know, it's a fantastic tool for staying connected with friends and family all over the world. On the other hand, it's a vortex of endless scrolling where you suddenly realize you've spent hours looking at pictures of people you haven't spoken to in years. You know, social media is like the modern day version of a diary. But instead of writing Dear Diary, we start every post with, hey everyone. Yeah, I do actually do that though. You know, we share every aspect of our lives, what we had for breakfast, how our workout went, and even our political opinions. You know, I've got friends who wouldn't even tell me what they had for lunch in person, but online they're posting pictures of their kale salad like it's the Mona Lisa, like the Picasso pizza before too. All right, and let's not forget about selfies, because most people take more selfies than they do regular photos, okay? It's like, hey, I saw this beautiful sunset, but first, let me take a selfie. I mean, who's going to believe you saw a beautiful sunset if there's not a picture of your face blocking it, huh? You know, selfies have become such an art form that people have invented the perfect selfie angle. I've tried to find my perfect angle, but I end up just looking like I'm auditioning for a role as a giraffe. Now, speaking of food, I'm a foodie. I am a foodie. I love trying new restaurants. But you know, you're getting older when you go to a fancy restaurant and you can't pronounce anything on the menu. I'm like, so I go there, I'm like, I'll have the thing with the sauce, you know, the one that's $40. And don't even get me started on portion sizes at these places. I left one restaurant so hungry that I had to go to the drive-thru afterwards. Jeez. I paid a small fortune for a plate that had 3 bites of food on it. It was like a fancy little appetizer for ants. And speaking of food, dieting. Dieting is such a struggle. You try to eat healthy, but then you walk by a bakery and suddenly you're the Cookie Monster. I am convinced that broccoli is just a cruel joke played on us by Mother Nature. It's like, here, have this tasteless green tree and it'll help you live forever. Yeah, right. I mean, I'll have my kale salad, but I'm eyeing that chocolate cake the whole time. It's like being in a battle of good versus evil, and the chocolate cake is the super villain that I can't resist. So, in conclusion, life is full of hilarious moments, and, you know, we all just need to laugh at ourselves, whether it's losing the TV remote, taking endless selfies, or struggling with fancy restaurant menus. We're all in this together. And remember, if all else fails, just grab a slice of pizza, take a selfie with it, and post it on social media. People will love it. All right, thank you guys. You have been so amazing. My name is Emily, and I will catch you in the next set. All right. Wow, that first comic was woo. Next, I'm going to welcome to the stage Brian Hill.
Okay, hello. That was not the ChatGPT, that was me. I've got 2 stand-up bits. One from ChatGPT as regular ChatGPT, and the other one is Bill Burr. So we'll see what that's like. Hopefully it's not offending anybody. All right, good evening, everyone. So glad to be here tonight, mostly because I'm not at home trying to assemble IKEA furniture. I swear those things come with a relationship test. Step 1, argue with your partner. Step 2, lose a screw. Step 3, lose your mind. Okay. Anyone else feel like the instructions are just a series of hieroglyphics? I'm expecting to find the Rosetta Stone in the next box I buy. Guess that's what you do. Online dating nowadays, it's a trip, right? I tried it, created a profile on one of those dating apps. My bio said, fluent in emoji. I got a date with a pyramid builder. Guess those hieroglyphics paid off. Oh, goodness. Today is hard, though. Dating is hard. Dating is very hard, especially during the pandemic. I went on a Zoom date once. I was 10 minutes late because I couldn't find the right virtual background I wanted. I wanted to look successful, so I chose the interior of a mansion. Forgot the pool was in the back, so every time I moved my head, I had a shark swimming through my ears. True story. Speaking of swimming, I tried to get fit during the lockdown, and I bought a smartwatch. The only thing it's made me realize is that my heartbeat goes up, not when I exercise, but when the pizza delivery guy is late. It's a real problem. I do try to work out at home, though, because I got myself one of those exercise bikes, the one with the virtual instructor. I ended up putting it in front of my TV. Every time I pedal faster, it's not because of the virtual trail. It's because my favorite character is in danger on the show. Go, John! Run! Run! My kids have it easy now. My nephew asked me what a VHS tape was. I said, imagine if Netflix was a brick that you could only watch one show on. He looked at me and said, oh, so you mean like YouTube for dinosaurs? Oof, rough crowd. I do love the modern world, though. We got our smart homes. But I think my home is a little too smart. Every time I say I'm going on a diet, my fridge locks itself. But seriously, the future's looking bright as long as we keep our sense of humor. And if all else fails, there's always IKEA furniture to put together. Thank you, and good night. Oof, that was rough. All right, we're going to go forward with Bill Burr. This is ChatGPT's version of Bill Burr. All right, how's it going? I'm out here trying to stay hydrated, because that's the thing nowadays. Everyone's walking around with these overpriced water bottles like they're trekking to the Sahara. Dude, we're in a mall, There's a water fountain right there. You ever notice the type of people who are super into hydrations? It's always one of those, the least physical people at work, Yeah, I just sat in my office chair for 3 hours. Better chug a liter so I don't pass out. Speaking of doing nothing, how about those Roombas, huh? Everyone's getting these robot vacuums, acting like they're living in the future. You know what it is? It's a drunk Frisbee that's terrible at its job. It's just a drunk Frisbee that's terrible at it. Bumps into everything. If I wanted something aimlessly wandering around my living room, I'd invite my uncle over after he had a few. Good grief. Technology is supposed to make our lives easier, but all I see is more ways to mess things up. My buddy's got one of those smart homes. His lights, locks, everything, controlled by his voice. The other day, he's yelling at the game on TV. His house went into lockdown. And now, police showed up and everything. He's like, no, officer, the Patriots just can't get their act together. Oh, gosh. I tried that meditation thing, the apps. Be present in the moment. I'm sitting there, eyes closed, trying to find my inner peace or whatever. And all I can think about is whether I left the oven on. Now, I'm more stressed than I started. And don't get me started on those plant-based diets. Look, I'm into eating healthy, but when my burger starts looking like my front lawn, we got a problem. But hey, to each their own. If munching on grass makes you happy, go for it. I'll be over here with my steak, thanking the cow for its sacrifice. All right, you guys have been great. Stay hydrated, but don't become one of those weirdos, all right? Good night.
Wow, Brian, thank you so much for sharing those wonderful jokes with us. Now we have our last performer of the night, Patrick Morahan. Did I say your last name right? I think I did. Morahani? Oh shoot, hold on. Is that what you want to go by? Goblin. We're gonna welcome to the stage next Goblin Gary, our last performer.
Hello. This is a stand-up set from Goblin Gary. I am a half-blind goblin. I live in an enchanted realm, and my stand-up's a little bit different from some you might have heard. Hello, everybody. Good to be out of the grotto tonight. You know you're a wretched goblin when the blind mice tell you to get glasses. I'm half blind, but at least I can see all of you half as judgmental. I don't get it. I've been told I smell like sulfur, but isn't the new Eau de Enchanted cologne smelling like sulfur nowadays, huh? Or did I just get duped by a mischievous imp trying to make a quick one? A quick coin. You folks ever try to cross the forest road during hearse... Oh, bleep. You're messing it up, Goblin Gary. You're messing it up. Sorry about that, folks. You ever try to cross the forest road during horse carriage rush hour? It's a nightmare. I'm half blind and can only see them coming 50% of the time. Statistically, I should have been hit by now. The other day, a fairy yelled, "Hey, Gary, why'd you cross the road?" I said I didn't. Still waiting for the traffic to clear. Honestly, I've seen slugs moving faster than these horse carriages, and at least they leave a smaller mess. And what's the deal with carriage drivers? They always act like they own the road. Just because you have a horse doesn't mean you're high society. I've got 3 trolls living in my basement. That doesn't make me a landlord. Now, you'd think living in the enchanted forest, I'd get some peace and quiet. Nope. Every morning, clip, clop, clip, clop. It's like living next to a tap dance academy. And don't get me started on the nightly bard karaoke at the Fairy Tavern. Sometimes I think of moving closer to the witch's swamp. At least there, the only traffic you hear is the occasional screaming prince turned into a frog. Peaceful. I set up a sign outside my grotto. Slow down! Goblin crossing. Next day, someone else added, who cares? Speed up. Gotta appreciate forest humor. People always ask me, Gary, why don't you just move away from the carriage path? Well, I tried, but you know how hard it is to find a grotto with good mold coverage these days. Plus, I'm close to the Pixie Mart. Those mushroom sales are to die for. In conclusion, if you see a wretched goblin that smells like sulfur trying to cross the road, give a honk or just slow down a little bit. Chances are he's just trying to grab a fresh mushroom from the other side. Thanks, and don't let the sprites bite. Good night. Good night.
I just want to thank all the comedians that came out to our open mic night tonight. All right. In all seriousness, though, wow, there was a lot of repeating language. Don't get me started was a phrase that the AI really liked between our sets. It was really bad. What are your thoughts?
I would say that I was saying to Emily as we kind of transitioned that comedians could use this as a means to like bomb and not feel attachment to their art, because this was all so bad. Like there was not like a single joke that I was like, ooh, I could use that joke. It was just all bad, and I got to be honest. The thing was, for mine, it had audience laughs, so it showed where it assumed the audience would laugh, and that makes it almost harder, because if I'm gonna write a stand-up bit and I'm like, people are gonna laugh at this part, and then I'm in a beat waiting for the laughter that never comes. I mean, it was all bad. I mean, I could see what it tried to do with Bill Burr. I could hear Bill Burr in it, but it was all bad.
Yeah. As somebody with a lot of friends in the Boston stand-up comedy community, I feel like it's really important for me to say I do not support this, but I think it was very funny to see how it writes jokes. As somebody who doesn't do stand-up comedy myself, I think it's interesting to kind of see the structure of a joke that it's trying to write, but it's bad, really, really bad, but also very funny. And I do like what you said, like that comedians could use this as a chance to practice and bomb, which is good, right? You gotta get comfortable doing that. But wow, yeah, this is hilarious, and I'm glad we did it, and maybe we'll bring it back again in the future.
For sure.
Yeah. Any more thoughts or
No.
anything? Wow. Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming to our first AI Theater open mic night. We will be back, I'm sure, again with new scripts, new material, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Bye-bye.